Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to all the brothers out there pushing His word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping His word of sincerity and the truth. Okay, I just want to go into a quick lesson based on this quote that I had screenshotted from the brother Shaquat, from Elder Shaquat from the GMS Mississippi camp, whose YouTube handle is GMS Dedication. The quote says, "You don't fit in because your calling is higher," which is true. And a lot of this primarily applies to the elect. You know, this quote primarily applies to the men and women of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, men, women, and children of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, his true followers. And I know we all have our testimonies. We all have our, both experiences that we can speak on in the past or that, currently speaking on now, where you can, you know that you don't fit in, or ultimately we know that this world, we're not of this world, the elect, they're not of this world. So they're not going to fit in. They're not going to conform to the ways of this world, which I'm going to read the scripture. This is Romans 12:2. It says, "Do not conform yourselves to the standards of this world, but let Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai transform you inwardly by a complete change of your mind. Then you will be able to know the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, what is good and is pleasing to Him and is perfect." So we are not to conform to the ways of this society, how this society moves, how it thinks, how it operates. We don't move in that fashion, because that fashion is literally unto death. Like this society glorifies the woman, puts the woman on a pedestal, especially with social media. Me personally, I'm not even on social media. I got off all my social media back in 2021. The only thing I'm on is YouTube. I got off all my social media platforms in 2021. So I've been pretty much off the grid when it comes to a social or digital profile of myself. But I still know that on social media, women are idolized, women are glorified. A lot of men, they get on whichever one it is, but the main one being TikTok and Instagram, and they go look at women and go to their page and just go and scroll and like and double tap, all their pictures and stuff. But that's not what it's all about, and I'm not saying it's anything wrong with a man who in his right mind that goes and do that, because men, we love women, what man wouldn't want to see a beautiful woman? But on the flip side, these women are extremely idolized and put on a pedestal that they don't belong on, they don't deserve, they don't deserve, they didn't earn, and they definitely shouldn't have never been put on. And not only just on social media, but in this world in general. And so, another thing that's outside of the social media, you might have coworkers, you might have family, where once you woken up into this truth and came into this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, of this word, it started to conform your mind. You started to think differently, move differently. And not only just with the holidays and the dietary laws, and the keeping of the Sabbath, but also too in the way you think. So our people, they might not, because if they're not connected to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, they're not going to be thinking or moving spiritually. But you will think and move spiritually. And a lot of times you might hear conversations that's wicked, or certain conversations that may not even be wicked, but it's just not spiritual. Or people are not using wisdom in the conversation that might make you, depending on how the Spirit has you to move and your level of experience, you may or may not speak on it. And a lot of times if you don't speak and you keep quiet, that might make it seem like you're distant. People might look at you as like you're not really like you're really different, which in a sense you are, but in their sense it's going to be in a negative connotation. So I got the definition of fit in on Google, and it says to fit in is to be socially compatible with other members of a group. And you see the first synonym it gives is to conform. And to conform says to comply with rules, standards, or laws. And that's basically westernization, basically the American, the westernization, the American way, and trickling on down to how society is built and how society has taught people to think. Like America really has to be, this whole westernized mindset has to be destroyed. And everybody that has that mindset is going to be destroyed. Anybody that comes out of that mindset that's an Israelite and turns to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, they have the opportunity to be saved. They have the opportunity to be of the elect. The chances are high. But for everybody else that has that westernization mindset, they're going to be destroyed. So to be socially compatible with other members of a group. So like the quote said, you don't fit in because you have a higher calling, and the elect truly has a higher calling. And I'm going to get a couple scriptures in John. This is John 17:9. Yahweh Shah said, I pray for them. I pray not for the world, but for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine. So Yahweh Shah is making the distinction. He said he prayed for them being the elect. He don't care about the rest of the nation. He only care about the elect. We know he ain't praying for the other nations. So this world does not apply to them. We know Yahweh Shem Yahushua only cares about the elect. I mean, he only cares about the elect as of right now. But ultimately, they only care about the nation of Israel. But as of right now, it's the elect of the nation of Israel. So that's the them. The world is Israel. Now I'm going to jump down to verse 14. It says, I'm going to read this in the AMP. I have given to them your word, the message you gave me, and the world has hated them because they are not of the world and do not belong to the world, just as I am not of the world and do not belong to the world. So just like Yahweh Shah, he said, you don't fit in. Just like the quotes say, you don't fit in because you have a higher calling. Yahweh Shah has the highest calling. Outside, he has the highest calling out of everything, out of everybody, And his elect is the same way. They have a higher calling, So that's why you don't fit in. And the world is going to view you differently. They're going to look at you differently. Even if you do, and you don't even have to do anything. You can literally be yourself and try to move as righteously as possible. And the world is still going to look at you differently and in a negative way. Just like they did Yahweh Shah. They hated Yahweh Shah. And he did absolutely nothing wrong. Verse 15, I do not ask you to take them out of the world, but that you keep them from and protect them from the evil one, or protect them from the evil. They are not of the world. This is the point. Just as I am not of the world. Sanctify them in the truth. Set them apart for your purposes. Make them holy. Your word is truth. Right. So like it said, they are not of the world, the elect. You don't fit in because you're not of the world. You have a higher calling. You have a higher purpose outside of what this world has to offer you or what this world could ever assign for you to be. Yahweh Shem Yahushua has something greater for you. And it says, sanctify them in the truth. Set them apart. There it is. You're not of the world because you have a higher calling. So set them apart for your purposes. Make them holy. That's that higher calling. Your word is truth. Let me see. I'm going to read verse 18. It says, just as you commissioned and sent me into the world, I also have commissioned and sent them, the believers, into the world, going into the prophets. The man of Yahweh Shem Yahushua that teach and preaches truth, But this world moves completely differently than how Yahweh Shem Yahushua moves. So, Lord willing, this was the edifying lesson, It took me a couple times to actually get it right because I kind of made a video and I was just rambling, but Lord will, this truly was an edifying lesson. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to all the brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping this word of sincerity and the truth. Until next time, shalom.